Have you ever stopped to think about how the tools we use don't just help us make decisions, they actually, well, they change how we decide things in the first place? It's this super subtle shift. It's not some big, loud explosion. It's more like a quiet, constant hum of data and algorithms in the background. It's like technology has become this silent partner in almost every single choice we make. So let's peel back the layers on that, shall we?
Okay, picture a boardroom from maybe a decade ago. You've got people talking, relying on experience, maybe flipping through some thick paper reports. Now picture that same room today. It's all glowing dashboards, real-time data feeds, pulsing heat maps. See, technology didn't just storm the gates. It kind of just slipped in the side door. And in doing so, it completely rewired the whole decision-making process from the ground up.
And just look at this shift. It's pretty dramatic, right? We've gone from a world of slow, kind of backward-looking analysis to this new environment of instant, data-driven reaction. Those old quarterly reports, yeah, they've been totally replaced by live dashboards. Gut instinct is now constantly being tested against these slick data visualizations. And those long, drawn-out meetings, they've been squeezed down by instant alerts that basically demand you do something right now.
And that's the wild part. There was no memo. No one held a big meeting and said, hey everyone, we're going to decide things differently now. This whole revolution happened quietly, just through the slow, steady adoption of tools we use every day. Spreadsheets, dashboards, and now all these AI assistants. It's that very subtlety that makes this change so incredibly profound.
So to really get our heads around how this all happened, we can actually break it down into 5 key technological shifts. Think of these as the basic mechanics that have completely altered the architecture of how we think and decide, not just in business, but in our personal lives too. So, how did we get here? Well, we can trace it through these 5 big shifts: speed, visibility, quantification, documentation, and finally, prediction. Let's kick things off with the first one and see how it works.
First up, speed. And man, this one's a biggie. When information is flying at you instantly, the pressure to respond just skyrockets with it. Decisions that used to take weeks of careful thought now get crunched into a matter of hours. And this completely changes the psychology of it all. All of a sudden, waiting for more context feels slow. It almost feels irresponsible. The very fact that real-time data exists creates this unspoken expectation for real-time action.
Next up is visibility. Technology has basically put a spotlight on processes that used to be hidden away. I'm talking about things like sales pipelines or employee productivity metrics. And this has a huge effect on power dynamics. When everybody can see the data, the old gatekeepers of information, the people you used to have to go to, they lose a lot of their influence. But here's the crucial part. A dashboard doesn't just show you data. It frames a narrative. It tells you what's important before anyone even says a word.
Then we've got quantification. Now, technology pushes us to measure absolutely everything, which on the surface sounds great for clarity. But there's a catch, and it's a big one. It nudges us to focus only on the things that are easy to measure. The second you put a number on something, you change how people behave around it. And you really have to stop and ask yourself, are we measuring what's actually important, or are we just measuring what's easy to count?
Just think about it for a second. We can easily track KPIs, revenue, user clicks, no problem. But how in the world do you put a number on your company's culture, or employee morale, or the long-term value of your brand? The real risk here is that in our rush to be data-driven, all the important stuff on the right side of this chart just gets ignored.
All right, the fourth shift is documentation. Every single email, every Slack message, every comment in a Google Doc. It's all recorded and searchable forever. Now, this digital paper trail is great for accountability, for sure, but it can also have this chilling effect. People become more cautious. They might soften their riskier ideas, and their language gets a lot more careful because they know their words are being preserved for all time.
And finally, we arrive at prediction. With the explosion of AI and predictive analytics, technology has become like an advisor that never gets tired and never sleeps. The conversation isn't just about our own intuition anymore. It's about what the models are telling us. Human judgment now has to be positioned in relation to what an algorithm forecasts.
And this is the new reality. Ignoring a model that's telling you there's a 70% chance of failure now requires a really strong justification. The default has flipped. This algorithmic authority is a powerful new voice in the room, and the burden of proof is now on the human to explain why they want to disagree with the machine.
But here's the thing.
This isn't just for C-suite executives making billion-dollar decisions. These exact same 5 shifts are quietly reshaping all the tiny micro-decisions that make up our workdays and, our daily lives. This is where it really gets personal.
Just think about your job for a minute. Your task manager is basically telling you what to do next. All those notifications are telling you where to focus your attention. Even before a hiring manager ever sees your resume, some applicant tracking system has already filtered and ranked it. The very design of our work tools has become the invisible architecture of our work itself.
And it's exactly the same in our personal lives. Your navigation app picks your route for you. Your streaming service picks your next show. We've slowly, almost without noticing, shifted from actively choosing things to what you could call guided acceptance. Mostly because, algorithmic convenience is just so darn easy.
Now, this convenience is incredibly powerful, but it definitely comes with some hidden costs. This growing reliance on automated systems is introducing a whole new set of risks and trade-offs that we almost never stop to talk about. This slide lays out the double-edged sword just perfectly. The benefit of speed is awesome, but it comes with the huge risk of overreacting to every little blip on the radar. Total visibility can mean we lose valuable, nuanced context that a person used to provide. Quantification, as we saw, narrows our focus, and those prediction models, they can hide the flawed, biased assumptions they were built on.
And this brings up a really critical, thorny question. When an algorithm influences a huge decision, like who gets a loan or who gets a job, and it gets it wrong, who's ultimately responsible? Is it the person who used the tool, the person who built it? This is a massive gray area that we are just beginning to figure out.
Look, the point here isn't that robots are taking over. The real danger is way more subtle than that. It's that we might become so dependent on these systems that we just stop questioning them. We forget how the metrics are made, and the pretty dashboards just become unquestionable facts.
So this all brings us to a choice. We don't have to just be passive passengers on this ride. We can actually be conscious and really thoughtful about how we bring these powerful tools into our lives and our work.
Really, the most effective thing we can do is just start asking better questions. Before you trust a dashboard, ask, what assumptions is this thing built on? What crucial data might be missing from this view? We have to constantly be asking where our uniquely human judgment adds the most value and how we can combine our gut feelings with data, instead of just letting one completely override the other.
And ultimately, it all comes down to this. This quiet transformation is going to continue. There's no stopping it. The real question for all of us is whether we're going to simply go along for the ride or if we're going to choose to be the conscious architects of our own decision-making future. The choice really is ours.